Scott's Quick Cash Class, episode 7. We are talking about budgeting. All right, who likes to talk about budgeting? I don't know if most people like to talk about that. It's kind of one of those topics that I think most people bury their head in the sand about. You know, it's difficult. You know, most people talk about having a budget. They have maybe a shell of a budget, like, hey, I've got to pay this, I've got to pay this, I've got to pay this, but very few people actually sit down, put pen to paper, and I mean, I know that's a little bit old school, so that's, you know, my old guy coming out, but you know, you younger folks, there's a lot of different apps and stuff, but that's sitting down, taking a look at all your bills, listing them out, seeing how much money you have, and see if those things equal, because if they don't, you have a problem. So, you know, budgeting doesn't start when you have money, right? You hear about all those millionaires who win or the lottery winners who become millionaires and then they're broke 5 years later. That's because they didn't know how to budget money before they were rich. So once they got rich, if you don't know how to budget, you're still going to be broke. Having money is not the solution. I don't know how much I can, how many more times I can explain that to people. Money is about habits. Money is a tool. And most people just have bad habits, right? Even if you get $1 million, if you have bad habits, you'll just last a little bit longer till you're broke versus if I gave you $10,000. So you really have to work on starting your budget when you're broke, because then when you start making money, then you actually have a plan where to put it. The biggest thing that you want to focus on is having a plan before you get your paycheck. So we all know that, you know, we have to pay our rent, we have to pay our mortgage, but you also have to pay yourself, right? And so part of that is savings. You have to budget that in, just like you would budget in gas or food or rent or your cell phone. You got to budget in saving. You got to pay yourself first. You got to, you know, whether that's saving for your emergency fund if you're on that step, or saving or for investing further down the road. You need to do that. There's numerous things, there's numerous tools out there to use. A couple different ones. Google Sheets, EveryDollar is a good one to use. You know, you can even, I'm an iPhone guy. There's a few different apps that come on there, like Numbers, that you can make your own budget on there. But the biggest thing is actually sitting down and doing a budget. And making sure every dollar has a place to go. So at the end of your budget, if you have an extra $50 and you're like, oh, I don't have anything to spend it on, assign it someplace, or it will get spent somewhere where you don't want it to get spent. They did a study in 2023. They found that 72% of people who don't have budgets feel anxious about money, which is understandable, right? When you don't have any control of what's going on, or you think you don't have any control of what's going on, that's when people generally tend to get anxious. So sitting down, making a budget, it's going to help yourself emotionally, that you won't have to worry, and mentally you'll be a little bit more relaxed about money because you'll be able to plan ahead a little bit better. Like I said, budgeting is not about cutting. Everyone thinks, hey, if I'm doing a budget, I'm cutting finances out. I'm sure there's going to be some cutting, but it's more about making a decision in advance, because when you have more time to plan something, you generally make better decisions. Most people make bad decisions when they don't have time or they don't have the resources. And so planning ahead is going to let you make better decisions. And that's really what this is all about. So, question of the day, other than rent, where could you save the most money? I'm going to answer this one for myself, and that's eating out. Me and my family love to eat out. I like eating out. We could get into a whole diatribe about what restaurants, but I like eating out, and I really have to make sure I stick to my budget, because I could eat out all the time, which obviously isn't the most healthy or the best on our budget. So that's where I would be eating out. So I really have to stick to a game plan for that. Tip of the day. It can be Monday, it can be Tuesday, it can be Wednesday. Me and my wife do our finance meeting on Mondays, but set up a 15-minute time to go through and check your budget. You know, every week, if you stay on top of it every week, it's a lot easier than if you just do it once a month, because a lot of things can happen in 30 days, but in 7 days you can course correct. So every Monday or every Saturday, every Sunday, whatever works for your schedule, sit down, do your budget, go over your finances, and I guarantee you, if you start doing this, your finances will improve. Till next time, leave us a comment, give us a like if you liked what you heard, and join us on this journey to your financial freedom. Till next time.